Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Flock's Mess Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas. Repping number 9 of the Baltimore Ravens, Justin Tucker. As your Ravens fan, I bring the flock.
I'm Brendan. I'm the other half of the pod. As always, repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks. And as the resident 12, I bring the nest.
We've got a show for you today. I'd like
Yeah.
to call it a good show, but it was a rough weekend for both of us. We are going to talk a little breaking news. We're going to talk the Ravens game. We're going to talk the Chiefs game. We are going to talk our games of the weeks. I think we're going to spend more time today on just things going on in the NFL, but we'll see what happens. We are a Go With The Flow podcast. Brendan, do you want to kick us off with the only relevant piece of news this week?
Yeah. So I don't have any of the details because I was unbothered to figure it out. But the Chiefs trade for DeAndre Hopkins earlier in the week. He ended up playing on Sunday. And then after Sunday's win, they traded for Josh Uche, the pass rusher from the New England Patriots. And I believe that one was for the 6th round pick.
So D-Hop, I believe it's a 5th or 4th if they go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's a 4th or a 3rd.
Okay.
So it is a conditional pick, but it requires them to go to a Super Bowl. It was not a high pick by any stretch of the imagination. I do want to talk about this for a minute. I don't think D-Hop is like a game changer for them. Like, he's a good wide receiver. I'm not saying he's not. I think he's talented. I really wanted the Ravens to go get him last year. They went and got Odell instead. Whatever. We all make life choices. I'm just here. So he's a good wide receiver. I don't think he's necessarily at this point in his life better than Rashee Rice. I don't think he's taking this team over the top. He's filling a hole that's been created.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it as like, well, this is the final piece that they need. It's anyone beat him, and then we could talk about what piece they need. Right now, I think he just fills a hole that was created by injury.
Can we just stop as a league making the Chiefs better?
Because trade with literally anybody else on the planet.
Yeah, like as a league, you should be sitting there going, yeah, no. Like as a Patriots, why are you sending somebody to that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? So
you know,
because I will say the Chiefs got better. Like adding DeAndre Hopkins makes you better.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely better, but they weren't bad. Like, the offense isn't playing great, but they're winning. Who fucking cares?
I was like, Mahomes was playing his worst career year so far.
And still nobody can beat him. So it's like stop it. It's like stop it. We're gonna hand them a 3-peat, and then I'm gonna be real pissed off.
Pretty much, yeah. At this point,
and I'm already not having a great weekend. Already not.
We'll get to my level of.
Yeah, it's not good. Crazy. And you know what? We'll wait. So yeah, I think that does it for breaking news. Is the Chiefs just
continue to get better? Yeah,
continuing to really look like they should just give up and show up for the Super Bowl. It's really like why bother at this point? Not sure.
I don't know. Because what's worse, Dallas? Them going 17-0 and actually winning the Super Bowl, or just them winning the Super Bowl?
We're not talking about this for a reason. We've avoided that. Let's keep doing that.
All right, get into the Ravens.
That helps my mood. All right. Ravens at Browns, 29-24. It's a loss, by the way. It was a loss. They lost. For those of you that watched the preview video, I did have a projected score. Turned out to be very, very wrong. I believe my projected score was, 38-21 Ravens. Missed the mark a little bit. Missed the mark. Here's the thing. Hold on, let me get back to our notes. I watch, as this has been mentioned vehemently on this show, I watch an extreme amount of talk shows about football. I'm either watching sports or sports shows. Right now, there's a little Blacklist sprinkled in. It's not new to me, but it caught my eye on Netflix the other day, and I went, F it, let's try it. I'm actually pretty into it. So it's sports shows, and Blacklist. That's it. That's all I watch. Nothing else matters. At work, I listen to talk shows. Not one person, not one show talked about this game. You know why? Because nobody cares. Everybody in the media is like, it was a weird fluke, it was a weird thing, whatever, doesn't matter. I have genuine concerns. Offensively, it was a rough day. Don't let the 29 fool you. Multiple drop passes by receivers. The main one was his deep ball to Bateman. The glare or the sun was clearly a problem. Lamar ran out of the shadow of the stadium into the sunlight because he couldn't see. And then when the ball hit Bateman in the chest, he couldn't see either. So, rough moment for them. Continued with offensive penalties on the O-line, and the pass rush was definitely able to get through. I do not want, if you're not like a history buff for football, that's okay. Brennan and I are. He's much better with like players' names. I'm not that good at that, but I can tell you relatively how the league goes. Hail Marys do not actively work. I know the Jets make it seem like they do, and if you watch the Commanders-Bears game, you're like, oh my gosh, Hail Marys are successful. They're not. That happens because defenses are fucking about. You can commit pass interference on a Hail Mary. You can. It's allowed. So they don't work. I don't think that this team is built for Hail Marys, especially when your shortest player is who's supposed to go and get the ball and then slips in the end zone. Don't think that's the play. You would have been better off putting Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the backfield and making those two guys half lateral it to each other to get it down the field. Would have been better. Typically, I don't question this team's play calls offensively. They attempted to go for it in their opening drive to get a touchdown. Probably should have taken the field goal. It worked last week. It didn't work this week. It's impossible to know. You do it early. You think, hey, if we don't get it, we have time to get points. But when the game ends 29-24 and you had two missed field goals or two opportunities for field goals, maybe that would have helped. Just not a great game. Lamar threw his helmet on the field afterwards, was not happy. Defensively. Okay. They had 3 dropped interceptions. I counted 4. They were only charged for 3. I guess 1. Little too far off his hands. Whatever. Worst of which was Hamilton's final play, obviously. Right to the chest, right to the hands. Should have caught it. Would have ended the game. Would have been a Ravens win then and there. They're the most dropped interception defense in the league. They have 8 total on the year. The next highest for a team is 5. Which is crazy when Humphrey by himself has had 3 in 2 weeks. That's crazy. That's crazy. What's happening? They definitely missed Marlon Humphrey. They definitely missed Marcus Williams, who was a healthy scratch. They're not telling us why. Nobody's saying anything. He was present for the game. He was just inactive. And then once again, Once again, another big play given up by miscommunication by the defense. We don't know how to line up, so the offense sees the confusion and snaps the ball. Here's the thing. This happens. It happens. Offenses, defenses, sometimes they're like, we're confused, we're not getting the play. Someone call a fucking timeout. Roquan Smith, call a timeout. John Harbaugh, you're watching this happen. Call a timeout. I don't want to hear, oh, well, the offense might need that timeout. You know what the offense needs? For the defense to make a fucking stop. Wouldn't have needed that final drive if they hadn't given up the touchdown play. Just so we're clear, wouldn't have needed it. Would have been winning. Someone call a timeout. Someone do something. I know there are problems with this defense. It needs fixed. I'm not disagreeing with the point. But there are things in the moment we could be doing that we're not. It feels like this weird, like the leaders of the defense and John Harbaugh are like, well, if you're going to fuck around, find out. And it's like this weird punishment of like, we're not going to help you in this moment because you can't get it together. That's insane. That's insane. It's not a child talking about touching a hot stove. This is a professional NFL team needs to get their act together. Fix it now. I have faith in Zach Orr. I really do. Fix it. Couldn't get the pass rush going. Don't know. I advocated heavily in my pregame video. They have to get the pass rush going, especially on first and second down. Force the third and longs. I understand. I did not know going into my video that they had switched offensive play callers. I was unaware of that. I missed that news. Discovered it afterwards. Probably wouldn't have had the score quite as high as I did knowing it. Because for a defense, that's hard to plan. But there are basic things we can be doing better, and they need to be doing better. Special teams, Tucker slipped on his 49-yard field goal and made it. Was upright and fine for the 50-yarder, and it was wide left. The whole team went, you know what? Let's not. We're on a 5-game win streak. It's the Browns. Fuck it. That's how I felt. Injury news. Nate Wiggins was out with an illness, didn't travel with the team. John Harbaugh is John Harbaugh, quoting HIPAA at the fucking podium. Not allowed to talk about it. Not allowed to disclose that. That's his private news. So there's that. Marcus Williams, like I said, healthy scratch, unknown reasons. Michael Pierce left with a calf injury. Not sure how long he'll be out. Brent Urban also left the game. Everything I'm seeing, he is okay. It was just kind of you got hurt. We don't want to risk it. Leave you where you are. And then picked up Josh Tupu. I'm sorry. I don't pronounce that name. And put him on the practice squad. Okay. We need help defensively. I get it. There have been injuries. I get it. Can we go get someone worth a shit? Can we stop picking up on people whose names I don't know off of practice squads to just put them on our practice squad? Can we just stop it? Like, for the love of fuck. You know who I think would like to come back to Baltimore? Clowney. Clowney's like, fuck, I fucked up. Mistakes were made. Go get Clowney. Go get somebody whose name somebody knows. Somebody. Anybody. Stop picking up people off some jagoff team's practice squad to dump them onto our practice squad. It's not helping. It's not helping. This defense needs energy, needs life, needs a pass rush. Clowney, sitting there. One of the worst teams in the NFL. He knows he fucked up. He knows he fucked up. You know what Carolina would give to just have a 4th round pick right now? Like, They'd probably give you Clowney plus for a 4th round pick. Just go do something. Do something that shows me there's a plan. Whatever. They play Denver next week. That's it. That's all I got. I know the final score makes it seem like, oh, it was competitive. It didn't feel competitive. For all of the Browns' problems with a new play caller, a new quarterback, they had life, they had energy. The Ravens didn't. And unfortunately, the Ravens are built right now that if the offense struggles, the defense can't compensate. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw. I do want to give a shout out. There's no player of the game, but it was National Tight End Week, and Mark Andrews did get a touchdown. So, good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. Polar had a drop path, though, so there's that. Brendan, you want to talk to us about Seahawks versus Bills?
Yeah.
Because you didn't have a better week.
No, I had a worse week. I had a significantly
Which is crazy. Which is crazy.
worse week. I don't have very many notes for this game.
Yep.
There's a 3.
I'm sorry. I saw your top 3. So just on our phones, Brendan and I have a shared notes app. So I can see his notes, which is why sometimes we get lost with each other. And this game was fucking terrible. This game was fucking terrible. This game was terrible. Offensive player, nobody. Defensive player, nobody. Special teams, absolutely fucking nobody. I'm not trying to blow up your spot, but I just saw the special teams one. That's funny.
Yeah, there's it's really special teams got dogged on. It should have been the other way, going like up, but the point is the point.
Yeah.
So as she said,
Talk to us, Brendan. Talk to us. What happened?
This game was terrible. I don't even know how to start this. Defensively, they,
Maybe start with who they played in the score.
yeah. Well, they played the Bills at home in Seattle and lost 10-31. Lost by 21 points at home to the Bills. Yeah, so defensively, I have a lot of issues. You still can't stop the run to save your fucking lives. After trading for somebody that was supposed to come in and fix those problems, first week, so maybe he's still getting there, but he just played the Bills last week for the Tennessee Titans, who runs McDonald's defense. Funny enough, they hired, I don't remember his name, Denard Wilson, I believe, who was a assistant under McDonald when that defense last year. So they run pretty much the same scheme. Still not good. Still not good. The linebacking continues to be a problem. The defensive line sucked. Flat out sucked. Had 0 pressure on Allen. I think for the game had 0 sacks, 0 QB hits, and 1 pressure. And that 1 pressure led to an interception.
His first of the season.
Which I felt vindicated because I was like, in my preview, I said the key to Seattle doing well is to win the turnover battle. They forced the first turnover of the game, technically. We'll get to what happened with that turnover in a minute, because the offense is going to cause a rant. A very big rant. So yeah, defensively, just nobody played well. Nobody did anything worth a shit. Derek Hall and Jared Reed were trying to throw hands on the fucking sideline.
I almost texted you. I was like, are your own players fighting with each other?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, one's a second-year player. One's like a 12th-year player. The 12th-year player got very mad at the second-year player for doing something very, very stupid. That's all needs to be said. It's football.
It happens. It gets heated.
second-year player did something very, very stupid. You don't hit Josh Allen that late.
Yeah.
Especially when it's third down and you force them to kick a field goal. But because of that, there's a 15-yard penalty that apparently, I didn't know this. This is an interesting rule that I don't necessarily disagree with. A roughing the passer negates any other penalty on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because the offense had committed an illegal shift prior to the snap. But because of the roughing the passer, it negates that penalty, and the roughing the passer is the only penalty that is called. Didn't know that. Kind of makes sense. But I didn't know that.
It's weird because usually like
Any penalty offsets.
an offensive like false start or illegal shift, in theory, negates whatever comes after.
But yeah, roughing the passer is like
So,
the one exception to all penalties are offsetting.
Yeah.
But that being said, they scored a touchdown 2 plays later. So, just good things are happening, guys. Yeah, defensively they were just a shit show. Nobody did well. So no defensive player of the game, hence the absolutely nobody. Dallas read out. Offensively, this is where the rant begins. So DK Metcalf didn't play in this game, as I had mentioned some of last week in my preview, that he was a doubtful to play. I've never seen a team need a wide receiver fucking more than DK Metcalf. Because holy shit, did this offense completely just shit the bed. Just shit the bed. Tyler Lockett did nothing. Jackson Smith-Njigba did nothing. Jake Bobo was non-existent. Laviska Shenault was non-existent. The offense was non-existent. I'm pretty sure our best offensive player was A.J. Barner, who was our third-string tight end. Yeah. So, good job, offense. Way to go. And then offensive line needs to just get nuked to all hell. Just all of them nuked. Goodbye. Get out of. Just leave. Just leave. I've been a huge criticizing our offensive coordinator for not running the ball more. This game showed me why he doesn't run the ball. Because they can't. The offensive line, Kenneth Walker was getting hit in the backfield on every single run. The thing is Kenneth Walker is a good running back, and at times can make good things happen when he gets hit in the backfield. And then there are times where he doesn't. And this is one of those days where he didn't. And the offensive line looked shit. So, more ranting. Seattle on offense was in the red zone 3 times the whole game. They only scored 10 points out of those 3 trips. The first trip, they went great drive, by the way. Fantastic drive. What you needed when you're down 7-0. Looked fantastic. Got the ball down the field, got into the goal line. Looked great. Ran the ball once. Got nothing because the offensive line sucks. On the second play, on the goal line, second and goal, Connor Williams snaps the ball so high that if you gave Geno Smith a fucking ladder, he wouldn't catch the football. Geno Smith could have put on like fucking stilts, and it probably still would have went over his fucking head. And what's worse is Kenneth Walker recovers it, and I thought for a second he might actually return that shit back to where they started. He didn't. But there was a moment where I was like, holy shit, he might actually make this work. Nope. That was the most yards he had gained the whole game, was him trying to return a fumble. So, that's always good. So that killed that whole thing. Seahawks had a 3rd and 27 because of a false start on the next play. So 3rd and 27 which is technically 3rd and goal at this point. They're forced to kick a field goal. They kick the field goal, whatever. Hey, it's 7-3. 2 drives later, Josh Allen throws the interception. We're doing good. That's what we needed. Finally, forcing Josh Allen to be Josh Allen. There's the interception. We return it to the 8-yard line. First and goal. They run the ball. Absolutely nothing. They run the ball. Absolutely nothing. They run the ball. Guess what, Dallas? Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
On the fourth play, fourth and like 2 to go, Geno Smith gets his leg stepped on by the fucking center who already snapped the ball over his head. Falls to the ground on fourth and goal and is sacked. Bills take over. So on 2 goal line drives, they get 3 points because the offensive line is shit. On the third goal line, at this point, it's like 24-3. So the Bills have given up, and Zach Charbonnet actually scores a touchdown on a running play, which is fucking wild considering that the Seahawks couldn't run the ball anyway. So, that's how you know that they finally just gave up and let the Seahawks score.
Yeah.
So, absolutely nobody played well on offense, hence the nobody gets the Offensive Player of the Game award. Just as a whole, John Schneider building this team has not done well. This offensive line I was heavily criticizing someone for putting them at 32nd in the league. They're that bad. They're 32nd in the fucking league. They are terrible. There is no redeeming this line. And I'm not kidding when I say they should just implode it and put in rookies and say, maybe you'll be better. Because how much worse could a rookie be than Lincoln Tomlinson right now? How much worse could a rookie be than Anthony Bradford? I don't know. At least they have room to develop.
That's fair.
And
That's
then
fair.
if DK Metcalf doesn't get a new contract, or if there's a whole Ayuk bullshit this year, John Schneider deserves to be fired because I don't know if I've ever seen an offense so wide receiver dependent in my life because the Bills had no fear. They didn't fear a single player on that offense other than Kenneth Walker. And to be honest, they didn't have to.
Can't run the ball.
Because JSN didn't scare him. Tyler Lockett doesn't scare anybody anymore. And then you had nobody else. DK Metcalf, even if he's not catching the ball, his contributions, just being out there as a decoy, is worth every penny.
Yeah.
So if we have a whole Ayuk bullshit where he holds out and we wait and it's this trade horse shit, I'm done. John Schneider deserves to be fired. And then special teams, it pisses me off that it's our worst position group at times, and it's coached by a fucking Harbaugh. The Harbaugh family has made a name out of being good special teams coaches. Figure it the fuck out. Because I'm tired of our punt returner muffing 3 punts this season. And it's been 2, technically. The third one was the botched replay review. That should have been a muff fumble, but they didn't have the angle to tell you it was. So, that's good. So, he should be off the team next week, hopefully, because he's terrible. He hasn't done anything. Can't return punts. Has muffed 3 of them this year. Has fucked up a kick return already. Kind of done with it. Kind of done with special teams. My punter and kicker are still fine. They continue to do well. The punter continues to be the best player on special teams. And then my kicker continues to make kicks, I guess. So, whatever. They can stay. The punt returner can get the fuck off my team. I don't care that you were UDFA. Get the fuck out of here. Just get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's how I feel about this week.
Yeah. it was a rough week for everybody.
Yeah. And then
Go ahead.
on the injury news side, Metcalf was the only player missing on offense with the MCL sprain, and then Trey Brown was the only player really missing on defense. So the defense was fully healthy, and they got shit on, missing 3 players, and 2 of them on IR, and one of them's only played half a game. So like, how much does he actually count?
Yeah.
So and then the other one is a safety that's been kind of shit. So not really missing him. And then your third string corner is out, who technically starts, but like only barely.
Yeah.
So like, and the defense still sucked. So I have faith in McDonald. My faith is slowly going away. I will give him more than a year, but I mean, if you can't figure out this fucking defense, which is your job, then
Yeah.
I can't, I can't, I can't help you.
I don't actively like root for Seattle. I don't really root against them either. Just kind of depends on how and who they're playing. I was really rooting for you guys this week. I kind of thought this would be the. I think the Bills are frauds. That's what I think. I don't think I've been subtle about that. I don't think I've blatantly said that specifically. But I feel like the Bills are frauds. And I think I have plenty of evidence for that. So I kind of thought this would be a come to light moment. It didn't work out that way. With the Seahawks playing as badly as they did. I do think it kind of proves one of my points is the Bills beat up on bad teams or teams that are playing badly. But they got to play another good team to see what they do. It was rough. It was a rough week for both of us. Pretty much everything I wanted, I didn't get. There was only one outcome this week that I was like, kind of want that and got it. Nothing happened the way I had hoped this week, and
No.
that was clear early. Like rarely do I feel like I'm genuinely disappointed by an entire Sunday, and that's kind of how I felt. It's
Oh
kind of how
yeah,
I felt this
it
week.
was.
Um,
It's a Sunday to forget.
yeah, yeah.
You want to get into your
Um,
game of the week, so we can
yeah.
just get
So
out of this fucking
I
horseshit.
guess technically, like I root for Denver. That would be kind of my second team. So that did go
Well,
kind of. Well, here's my thing. Okay, so Denver versus Carolina, at home. I have to say, I call it Mile High. It will always be Mile High. I know it's not technically that now, but it's what it is. 28-14. Here's the thing. Here was my. I watched the game. I watched it. The Panthers are terrible. Panthers are trash.
mm-hmm.
Last week, Marcus Mariota looked like an MVP playing against this team. This team let Bryce Young, by the way, who I do not believe is quarterback in the NFL, put 14 points on the board. I'm confused. The defense for Denver has definitely gotten better, but I felt like there were some busted coverages this week, some plays we definitely missed on. Offensively, I really think Sean needs to open the playbook for Bo Nix. The rigidity, the extremely scripted plays often don't go well. I also felt like you really saw Sean's ego, especially late in the game. They were up 28-7, I believe. And rather than kick a field goal or take the points or realize you're going to kick the shit out of a bad team, we attempted to score another touchdown. Didn't go well. Turnover on downs, gave the ball back to Carolina, let them score another 7. I think Sean Payton is a good coach. I do. I think he's done great things in his career. But his ego gets in the way. And I feel like that was on full display Sunday. Is he went into it thinking he should be able to do exactly what the Commanders just did. And he was going to force it. And it didn't go great. You won, you got the W, but players have egos. Owners have egos. I feel like head coaches need to set it aside. Play the game to win and move on. I understand what Dan Campbell is doing in Detroit right now says, fuck it, my ego is out for everyone to see. It's a little different. Denver could be a good team. They could be a playoff team. But if this is how you're going to play football, you're not going to have success. Get off your ego. Just play smart football. And I feel like he didn't. Like, you won. I'm not discrediting that. But you clearly went for things that weren't necessary. That you had no success in. Against a bad team and a bad defense. So when you play good teams, this is why it doesn't work out so well.
Yeah.
So, I like the Broncos. I think this is the first time since Peyton Manning they're not flailing about. Have faith. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
You're a good coach. I would not call you top 5 in the league. Calm down. Just play football. Just coach. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will talk a little bit more about Denver when I do my preview. Because Baltimore does play Denver next week. That's why I picked this game. Despite not giving a rat's ass about Carolina.
Yeah. I don't know why you would.
I don't know. I don't know. All right, you want to talk to us Dallas versus San Francisco?
Yeah.
At San Francisco. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At San Francisco.
Didn't really watch this game. Watch the condensed replay a little bit.
That's fair.
Just 49ers got the win. Good for them. Go you. They're now tied. There's a 4-way tie for our division. Or no, 3-way tie for our division. The Rams are last.
Currently out of it.
They won't be for long.
No, not the way they're playing.
Well, they'll probably end up actually. We'll see. But yeah, they won't be for long. So good win for the 49ers. You're now behind, technically, the Cardinals, who are leading our division. The Cowboys suck. That's pretty much. That was my takeaway. Is they suck. Jerry Jones continues to be an issue.
Terrible.
Dak Prescott was definitely your guy, guys. It's definitely was worth that contract.
Worth $60 million right there.
Because the little bit I watched live, I saw his one I saw one of his interceptions. Yeah. I don't know if he had another. I didn't end up.
I believe he had.
I think he had 2. I cannot. I
just
remember the one. I remember the one that was just terrible. I mean, like he underthrew it so bad, and it was his first one. I know it was his first one. It was
And it was even worse. One, I know there was one he threw. He threw an interception, but Bosa fucked it up. Or no, Warner fucked it up by tipping the ball because he didn't know a 49ers player was behind him. If he'd let it go, it would have been another one.
But yeah, so he's definitely worth the $60 million they paid him, and Jerry Jones continues to be the worst owner GM in football. So go
We're
Cowboys.
Gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. There was a thing that I heard about all fucking week that I want to talk about.
Okay, and then I guess just to end off this game because it was just so fucking bad. it wasn't even a good game. The game ended 24-30 in favor of San Francisco, and
Yeah,
it still wasn't a good game. It was kind of boring. It was kind of just. Eh. Kittle is the best tight end in football. There were no arguments to be made. Zero, zilch,
that's fair.
nada. Um, Kelsey's probably the best all time, but he does not look good this season. So Kittle is now the best in football.
It's hard for me to argue for Mark when hasn't done a whole ton this. Like he's getting there, but it hasn't done a whole ton.
There's also something about Kittle's just energy,
That's
what
fair.
he does beyond the tight end position that I
Yeah,
just can't really argue with.
that's fair.
And then CeeDee Lamb had kind of an unreal game, even with Prescott being ass. 13 catches, like 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns is
It's a
pretty good game.
just really good outing for a wide receiver. Honestly.
Um, yeah, and then Kittle, National Tight End Day, winning me some fantasy football leagues. Good job, buddy. But that's about it.
Yeah,
That's about it.
here's the thing. I feel like the Cowboys are the epitome of we don't give a fuck. And I have mentioned and I have made reference to my tiers list before the season started. This week, or last week, I guess, technically, a former player came out and said that the Cowboys do tours through the facility throughout the week. And that can be distracting because you're trying to work out and there are people wandering through your facility, knocking on the glass, trying to talk to you, all this stuff. And then I listened all week. People debate this on national television about whether it's a distraction, whether it should be, whether it's this, whether it's that. Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck. Don't care. Do at all. Probably shouldn't be a distraction. You're an athlete, you play in front of 20, 30,000 people. Like people yell, people talk to you. It happens. You should be able to mentally block it out. I do think your training facility should kind of be a safe space. So that might be kind of that might put you on edge. Jerry Jones, though, is a great owner. He has turned the Cowboys into the richest sports franchise in the world. It's not just football, it's in the world. And there are a lot of sports, a lot of franchises. But when you say all year, all the time, every day to anybody with a microphone that you are all in, what that means is you have to be all in on every part of your job. And you are clearly all in as an owner. You're very active. You do a lot of things to make this team money, to build this team's brand. But when you are all in as an owner, how can you be all in as a GM? That's not possible. It's not possible. I own a donut shop, for Christ's sake. And I refuse to have multiple roles at one time. If I am working my counter and vendors come in and want to talk to me, I go, you need to leave a business card and I will call you. Because when I'm in owner mode, I will deal with this. But right now I'm not. Right now I'm in counter person mode. So that's how I operate. Counter me should not making owner me decisions. That's not where my head's at. If I don't do it as a fucking donut shop owner, how do you do it leading the most well-known franchise in the world? You don't. So you have good drafts. But you can't. There's nothing else to distract you during the draft. So that has your focus. But you're quiet in the off season because you'd rather play owner. You don't do anything during the trade deadline because you'd rather play owner. How can you tell me or the world you're all in when you're not even all in on all of your jobs? How? Like, you're not all in, so how can anybody else be? I don't really care about the facilities. I don't really care about the tours. Whatever. That's a choice you've made. I don't think any other team in the NFL does it that way, but whatever. What it does tell me is you do not know how to do both. And that has been abundantly clear for a very long time. Hire a fucking GM. We're going to talk about the worst teams in the league. That's going to be the main thing we talk about and what they all need to do. You need to hire a GM and let them be a GM. You cannot do both. You are not all in on both, which means this team is not all in on winning. Stop saying it. You're an idiot. You're a great owner. Teach me how to be a billionaire. You are phenomenal at it. Not a good GM.
I was like, maybe leave the football to somebody else.
Yeah, leave the football. Because, by the way, when you had great teams, when you had Super Bowl winning teams, you had a GM. You had a head coach you believed in. You fought with him, fired him unnecessarily, I think. But you did those things. And then randomly one day you went, you know what, I'm a BGM. And you hired a coach that you can push around. That doesn't push back on your bullshit. That's not what you need. That's not what any NFL team needs. I've told the story. Marlon Humphrey told the story of Steve Bisciotti and EDC's conversation about the draft. And Bisciotti went, I would really love a pass rusher. And EDC went, well, we can't always get what we want, can we? Because EDC is the general manager. He's building the team. Bisciotti's the owner. He owns. It works well. I know they don't have a Super Bowl. They have a Super Bowl more recently than the fucking Cowboys do. I can tell you that.
They do indeed have one more recently than the Cowboys.
They have two. They have two in the time it's taken y'all to have zero.
Yeah. I think
haven't even reached the conference championship.
Yeah. They haven't won a playoff game in...
Like, for the love of fuck.
They haven't even made it to the divisional in a while.
No. Like, for the love of fuck. And the team hasn't even been good enough to be the number one seed to be like, you know what, we'll take a week off and we're really planned. We're really planned.
That's my point. It's like they haven't made it anywhere. They haven't done anything.
Stop being a GM. Stop it. Good owner. Great owner. Arguably. One of the best. Clearly. Franchise is worth a lot of money. Really good. People continue to talk about you even though you're terrible.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody's talking about the Panthers today. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about? We're talking about America's team. We're talking about the Cowboys. Be relevant. Hire a GM. Go away. Play owner. Great job. A+.
Unfortunately.
For GM.
Unfortunately, they aren't hiring a GM until he kicks the bucket. There's zero way that this team...
We're not advocating for that. We don't want that.
No. I'm just throwing... They're not...
I'm scared.
He's not hiring a GM.
Because, like, his son is really active and, like, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
Somebody do something.
Like, you see all the best owners, because he's probably the best.
He is far and away the best owner.
But I can make an argument that the Cronkies are the best owners in sports.
Because they leave it alone.
Because
that's fair.
What, guys?
That is a very fair argument.
Guess what every single team the Cronkies own has? A general manager and a championship recently.
Yeah. Like a recent modern day championship. And you know what they do? They buy a team they put money into it, and they walk the fuck away.
Pretty much.
Like,
The
Kroenke is even, like, they have a representative that will go to some of their home games. They're like, we have other shit. If you need something, call us.
The only one that actively is with a team, like that actively hangs around a team, is his son, and he hangs around the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Because that was his team. Like, he's the reason the Nuggets exist.
But, like,
or part of the reason the Nuggets still exist.
Yeah. The Kroenkes buy a team and walk away. And they go, tell us what you need.
Yeah,
how can we help? They hire a GM. And they don't even hire a GM. I want to be super clear. The Kroenkes hire sports specialists to tell them who to hire.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. But they have successful teams in every major sport because they know we should not be running a sports franchise. We should own one. We're worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're one of the most successful real estate families in the world.
Let's own them.
So we'll buy teams. We'll make them better. We'll put money into them. We'll make sure the right people are hired and move the fuck on with our lives.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl with the Rams. I don't remember what year that was now.
The Mammoth, Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets won. The Avalanche have won recently. The
Mammoth won recently.
The Mammoth, who are lacrosse, so not a major sport, but still count.
Their soccer team.
That was a while ago. That was a decade ago.
Okay. But, like, all success.
Yeah.
So,
once again,
just saying.
They don't run a single team. They don't.
I feel like the Cowboys are football's Rockies.
Okay.
We put a lot of money into it, and they're a great owner. Like, that stadium is worth a lot. And the franchise is worth a lot. But the team's terrible.
At least the Cowboys win. Sometimes.
Do they?
I mean, the last couple years. The last couple years they were 12 and something. And
12
not
and
this
5.
year.
But when you think about it, I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah, the Rockies are the second worst team in baseball, though. So, I mean, like, it doesn't really work.
So I was thinking about this the other day, though. Let's take the Cowboys. I don't have, like, their legit schedules in front of me.
Yeah.
12 and 5. You play your division 6 times. That's 6 games.
Yeah.
You usually lose to the 49ers. You split with the Eagles. And you roll the Giants.
That's not the 49ers. It's the Commanders that's in their division.
Oh, the Commanders. I'm sorry. So you roll the Commanders. You roll the Giants.
And you split the Eagles.
And you split with the Eagles. So that's 5 wins right there. Then you play an NFC division, who we talked about for the better part of 5 to 10 years-ish. With the exception of your top tier, your elite teams, has been weak. Right? So outside of the 49ers, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and occasionally the Seahawks, the NFC has been weak. So that's another 4 teams that you probably win. So now we're up to 10. Then you take your AFC division that you play, who is historically better. However, it's usually like the AFC division winner and then the next 3. So maybe you split that. You win 2, you lose 2.
So far, they've won. So their NFC or their AFC division opponent was the AFC North.
Okay.
To which they've won 2 and lost 1.
So, like I said, you split your AFC division.
Yeah. They are currently
and then
3
your
and 4.
Other random 3 teams. Well, I'm even talking past years.
Yeah, no.
To get to 12 and 5.
I'm looking at their schedule for them to get to 12-5 this year, if it's possible.
Like, you play a pretty fucking easy schedule. When you take into account your division, the history of the NFC, that's 8 wins. Say you split with the AFC division, that's 10 wins. And then your other random 3, you win 2 out of 3 of them. That's 12-5. But at no point can you then, when you have to play good teams in the playoffs, or when you have to play great teams away from home, do you win?
Just
So
for
even at
reference,
12-5, it's a weak team.
yeah, but in order for them to go 12-5 this year, they'd have to win out other than one game.
Yeah.
And their schedule is not great to do that.
No,
They
I
play
believe that.
in Atlanta. That's probably
Load.
going to be a loss. They play the Eagles at home. I'll give them
Load.
that win. I'll give them a win against the Eagles in Dallas, and then they'll lose to the Eagles in Philly. That would be my... Because they're probably going to split with the Eagles, because they always do. They have the Texans.
But they've lost all their home games.
Have
Or
they?
they've only won one home game this year.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah. Typically, their home record's been phenomenal in the past. This year, it's trash.
Oh my god. Their only home win?
Browns? No, they played that in Cleveland.
They have not won at home yet.
Yeah, that's okay. So, see?
They only have their 3 wins have been in Cleveland, in New York, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not convinced you'll split with the Eagles.
Okay,
the way they look.
Oh, fair.
Sunday.
Because then, okay, you lose to the Falcons, or you possibly beat the Falcons in Atlanta. I still think they lose that, but
I think they lose that because their defense can't stop shit, and Atlanta's offense is rolling.
yeah. You play the Eagles at home. I'll count that as a loss. You play the Texans at home. That's a loss. You play the Commanders on the road. That's a
They look really
toss-up.
good.
I would count that as a... So that's 4 possible losses in a row. Then you play the Giants. You'll win that.
Win that.
You play the Bengals.
Might win that.
You play Carolina. That's just a free win.
That should be a win.
You play Tampa Bay. That's a loss. You play the Eagles again, this time in Philly.
Loss.
That's 6. And then you play the Commanders again in Dallas. And I think they split with the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. I feel like now that we're seeing a better NFC, we're seeing who the Cowboys really are.
Yeah, they're not good.
Because it's easy to be good when you can take 6 wins easily from your division. And then you play another 4 teams from that conference that have never historically been great. That's easy to do.
This year they're
Even
given...
if you lose to the Commanders, you beat the Cardinals, you beat, like, you know what I mean? Like, you beat bad teams. So it's easy to get to 12 wins. Now that the NFC is a competitive conference, you're getting your ass kicked.
Yeah. Like.
And you look like shit. And nobody has any answers except for your owner who just wants to fire people on the radio. Because it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Hire a GM.
The Cowboys are just...
It's crazy. It's crazy. The one positive thing about the Cowboys, you and I talked on here during the offseason about you should be required to take a public speaking class.
Yep.
If you are going to be an athlete.
Yeah.
Or there should be some kind of training during training camp. There should be something. I would like all rookie quarterbacks to watch Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, and I think that'll do it. You can watch Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, whatever, at the podium. That's how you do that. Because to all of Dak's credit, and for all of his faults, gets up on the podium, respectfully, calmly, and says the right thing at the right time. Because if you watched Sunday's post-game press conferences, I would say shit show would be the overall bot.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson got up there and explained that he came off the field because he was tired. The crazy thing is, the reporter knew to ask him that. No quarterback has ever been asked, "Were you tired? Is that why you left the field?" How did you know that? What is happening in the Colts organization that a reporter knew to ask if the quarterback was too tired to keep playing? And then to confirm it is insane. You do not have to be honest with them. They don't know. You can be like, "Oh no, I tweaked my ankle. No, that thigh thing whatever problem you were having last week, oh no, I was feeling that.
That rib.
Because I've been running around.
Got hit a
I'm
little
a little
bit.
sore. Thought it was better. You can lie. It's okay. You're not under oath with the media. You're stupid. I don't know who prepped you for this interview.
So,
but for the love of fuck,
next week, the week after this one, I have a bye week, and
okay.
I'm gonna get back into the quarterback rankings.
Yeah.
I think the worst take I had was that Anthony Richardson was actually like a half decent quarterback.
Yeah.
Because that one's coming back to bite me a bit.
The Colts do not know who their starting quarterback will be next week. They were asked. I have said, you compared him to food poisoning or fine dining. I have said I do not think he is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, that's what it is.
I still have
it's getting worse.
Yeah, I'm not sure why or
because
how.
I feel like teams are figuring out
that you don't have to do anything.
The explosive plays.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, it's 3rd and 20. In theory, that would be like Anthony Richardson's golden moment. You have a really strong arm, you have all these things, and then you went, I'm too tired. Bitch, what? Do you think Lamar Jackson isn't tired? Fucking running around the field? He is the only quarterback to have 7 straight consecutive seasons with 500 plus rushing yards. It's fucking week 8. He shouldn't have that. You think he's not tired? You think the quarterbacks running for their lives because their O-lines are terrible aren't tired?
Yeah.
You think the quarterbacks that don't know who's starting every week because their team is that bad, they get sacked all the time, they have nobody to throw to, they're not tired? Shut the fuck up. Play quarterback. That's your job. That's your job. And then to say that is insane.
Yeah. The Colts have a problem. And part of me is like, I think they should just stick with Richardson and lose as much as you possibly can. It doesn't help you that much, but at least if you keep Richardson in, he can at least try to develop, play more football.
Yeah.
That's really his issue, is he's not played anything.
So Pat McAfee talked about that. At what point do you give up? Do you go, this ain't it?
If you're
Is it a full season? Is it?
That's a good one. And I think you might have to do I would do a full season, mainly because this year I think you're just kind of fucked regardless. Like, you're 2-6 at this point, I think. Double check that. I think that's what they are. I cannot see their schedule or their.
I think so.
I can't see their.
Hold on. fuck, what fucking? They're 4-4.
Are they actually?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe you say fuck it. You have two decisions. If you stick with Richardson, you said fuck it to the season. And you're like, maybe if we give him enough time in football, he eventually gets somewhere. Or you go, we actually want to try to do something this season, and you put in Flacco. But
It's really crazy.
Flacco's going to take you to the playoffs, but then probably nowhere else.
Yeah.
So you have a choice to make. Do you want to make it to the playoffs and say we're a playoff team, but then not do anything? Or do you want to tank and try to get a
So
high
I
draft
feel
pick?
like what you do depends on the decision you make about Richardson. I think if you leave him in, it's because you intend to move on. Honestly, you
Okay.
up your draft capital. Maybe you can trade him for a backup, or you can or whatever. You up your draft capital. If you bench him, it's because you intend to keep him.
I don't know. I
And you
think
go, last year he sat, but he was hurt. So this year he can sit and we actually work with him on the fundamentals of playing quarterback. Because understand that when you only play 13 games, nobody's done that with you.
yeah,
So I feel like if you sit him, it's because you intend to keep him.
maybe there is some thought to that, I guess. I think you're right. I think it'll depend. I think they should. I don't even know. Because raw talent wise, it's there. But there's nothing else. He has the arm strength and the mobility
Mobility.
and nothing else. He
Well,
cannot
and that's
throw a ball.
he can throw it like 5 yards.
Yeah, he can't throw a
This
ball.
is a deep ball, sure. But then a wide receiver has more room and more time to correct. They
Yeah,
track the ball. They go, okay, I need to come 3 steps that way. I need to come 3 steps this way.
yeah.
5 yard pass, it's up to the quarterback.
5 yard. And the issue he has is he has a strong arm and he doesn't know when to use his strong arm.
No.
Is a 5 yard pass, he'll still put mustard behind it. So again, on the
There,
receiver,
there seems to be very little football IQ.
mm-hmm,
Like I mentioned this last year,
try
it was
none.
very clear he took the read he was told to take. He doesn't know how to go through a progression. This year, you see him go through the progression and then make the wrong decision. Like we don't wait. We don't. We go through the progression and we bail out
Yeah, it
because we don't know how to make those decisions. We don't know how to read a defense. We don't know how to know. Oh, you know what? I see my wide receiver in line with the safety. He's gonna break free. So if I lead this ball 2-3 yards to the side of him, he's gonna go and get it. We don't know how to do that.
but there's just
There's
nobody.
just no IQ whatsoever.
Yeah, there's no one. There's absolutely no one. There's no.
And so I did, like I said this a couple weeks ago, I think, when potential is your ceiling, not your baseline.
It's gonna be
I
an
don't,
issue.
and that's what I see. That's what I see. Is right now it's potential, not
Yeah,
anything else,
and
and that's not good enough.
he's it with I. He's one. I just don't even know. I don't. There's nothing I can say for them to do that would actually help them.
Yeah,
Because yeah, starting
no,
Flacco is probably your best choice.
but I just think I
But
think it comes down to what do you want to do in the long run.
because here's the issue, I don't see a quarterback in this draft that's worth them taking,
Well, and
depending on where they're at.
there aren't that many.
No,
And are you willing to duel it out with the teams that really need a quarterback?
because I can think of three off the top of my head that I'd be comfortable taking in the first round.
Yeah.
And one of them's a stretch.
So, what do you do?
Because one of them can't handle.
Is the draft next year for quarterbacks? You think that'll be better?
I think there's a greater talent next year.
So then maybe sit Richardson the rest of this year. Let him develop. Let him learn. Behind somebody, by the way, with a great deep ball. Like, there's nobody better to teach you how to operate a deep ball than Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Sit, learn, actually develop the fundamentals, learn how to I don't know, read a defense or I don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm not a fucking quarterback. There's clearly a problem though. And then next year try again. And if it's not good, then it's not good. You get a high round pick.
Yeah.
Take quarterback. But I think sit his ass down. Especially because he keeps getting hurt anyway. Like, what's the point? And then maybe you make the playoffs at least. You know, Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
And you let Richardson learn.
But that requires them to think ahead. So
yeah,
we'll see. It's a tough decision for them to make. But yeah, next, the quarterback state of college football right now is interesting.
And I think next year there will be fewer teams looking.
Yeah. I think we're going to see fewer and fewer teams every year looking, but there's a couple.
Because the quarterbacks, the active right now are so young. They're all in their prime.
Yeah. I'm looking, and there's some that you just can't move on from.
Yeah. Financially, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So you can draft one, but he ain't playing right away.
No.
Which, I mean, for some of them, that's good, I guess.
I mean, none of your Elite 5 did. None of your top 5 started right away.
That's my point. I'm like, it probably helps.
So it's not a bad thing for him to sit. So it's not bad for Richardson to sit. He's not been paid. God, don't do it.
Not
if they pay him next year, I'll freak out. I'll freak out.
I don't think his contract isn't up that quickly. So that's good, I guess.
You can at 3 years on a rookie deal, and that would be where he's at. Last year, this year, and one more. You could pay him at the end of next year.
Normally they wait till 4. But, I mean, who knows?
Trevor Lawrence didn't wait.
Because you have the 4th year, and then you have a 5th. So you have the 4th year, and then you also have the 5th year option.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the point, but nobody seems to know how to pay quarterbacks right now. It's insane. Trevor Lawrence just got $255 million. Like, what? Dak Prescott just got 60
per year. Yeah.
Fucking Brock Purdy's been to the Super Bowl, making $1 million a year. Poor guy.
Yeah. We're about to see the QB market take a fucking. It's
too expensive. It's too expensive. That needs fixed. And you can't. I don't know if there's a way to fix it.
The way to fix it is to make it. Is to make it like cap on how much you can pay him.
Yeah, and quarterbacks have to be willing to be like, I'll come down.
Yeah.
Maybe if nobody can really do what like your top 7 are, as they go into their next contracts, they won't be as high.
Yeah.
So then the middle of the pack, like, you know what I mean? And then the elite, when like the next generational elite comes in, they go, we ain't doing this.
Evens out.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. But like seriously, it's been stupid. And yeah, the Richardson situation's been stupid.
Yeah.
Just on both sides. Like you are not he's not. He can't. He's not a quarterback.
And then you do. You tell the media I was tired. It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Actually, it was the second stupidest. Moving on to the next post-game press conference that I was thoroughly appalled by was the Jets. Head coach, the interim head coach, got up there and went, this is a time of darkness. We are in the darkness. I don't know what he and Aaron Rodgers were smoking in the locker room before we hit the podium. You don't share. Whatever Rodgers is doing with his life, don't partake. So he came out and preached about the darkness, and then Aaron Rodgers came out and said, "Yes, this is a time of darkness, and we will move through it. I've been in the dark." What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Um, I just
Like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers hits the podium and goes, "If I just say weird ass shit, nobody will actually ask me a real question." And that's what happened. Everybody was like, okay, but how do you fix it? We gotta come out of the darkness." No, bitch. No,
how do you fix it?
that's not the answer. The answer is they get a new quarterback and he sells the team. That's how we fix it.
Yeah, the Jets are so fucked.
This is the most underwhelming talented roster I've ever seen.
So,
It's crazy.
because yeah,
The,
this
the
Jets team,
Patriots at least have an excuse.
yeah,
We didn't
that's
start our quarterback. We want to work on our O line, and then we were proven right because he got hurt, got a concussion.
yeah,
Very sorry for him. Hopefully, quick recovery. Please not get more of them. We're going to talk about the other concussion guy as well. Please be careful. I recommend wearing a Guardian cap for at least another week after you're allowed to return. How did this team that's clearly in a rebuild, that the head coach called soft, the head coach got up there and trashed them, came out and went, "God damn it, guys, we have got to be better." And they rallied. They
yeah,
rallied for their head coach. They're not a good team.
no,
Okay, so I'm not sitting here going, "Yeah, they blew out the Jets. Congratulations." That was
yeah,
never going to happen.
you barely won, but the fact that you
But
beat
you
them,
won.
yeah,
You beat a team that has, I keep being told, a Hall of Fame quarterback, a superstar wide receiver, a young potential superstar wide receiver. I keep being told great running backs, and what was supposed to be a top 10 defense. And you lost to the Patriots.
yeah, 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 yeah.
To the Ravens' credit, the Browns changed quarterbacks, offensive coordinators, and
And
got healthy. They got Nick Chubb back
yeah,
and have a great pass rush.
and I'm gonna be honest, them changing quarterbacks, Jameis Winston's probably a better quarterback.
Oh, yeah, they upgraded. So the Ravens lose closely, and I'm like, I have problems. I have concerns with this team, but okay. You
Whatever.
lost to one of the worst teams in the NFL that has all of these things on tape.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Brissett has multiple games on tape. You could have been like, "Oh, I've seen that. I know what he's getting ready to do." And you went, "Fuck it."
At the time of the game, there was
So
only
glad we
like
got Hassan Reddick back.
yeah.
That helped.
At the time of the game, there's only two teams that were arguably worse than the Patriots, and it was the Panthers and the Titans.
Yeah. And I would say that at least they put up a fight.
Yeah,
The Jets just look like they don't give a fuck.
and the Jets probably should have lost to the Titans.
Oh, absolutely. It was Will Levis's fault. It was
Yeah,
Will Levis's fault.
but now, Devontae Adams gets traded to the Jets. Thought that was going to fix everything, guys. For Devontae, you've just gone from one Raiders to another because that's pretty
Yeah.
much what it is. It's pretty
Yeah.
much what it is.
It's the
You've
Raiders
gone
team.
to
It's
a
terrible. Terrible team.
slightly what I would call better Raiders team, like on paper,
On paper,
but they
I
have the
don't think
same
you got
record.
better at quarterback.
They have the same record. Still suck.
Like,
That defense is getting exposed.
Zach Wilson's Jets was better. That's a fact.
I enjoy it. I just love how everyone's sitting there and going, fired the coach. They're gonna get better, guys. They're gonna do something. Nope. Okay. Trade for Devontae. They're gonna get better, guys. They're gonna do it. Nope.
Come on back.
Hassan Reddick's back. Well, finally, that defense will get better.
Lost to the Patriots. Lost to the Patriots. Worst team in the NFL. Lost to the Patriots. Or they're bottom three. I don't know. I think the bottom three you could have anywhere, like in any order,
Well, right now
right?
there's
The Panthers, the Patriots,
a lot of 2-6 teams.
and okay, name them. Name 'em.
Okay, the so we'll start with the 1 and something teams. So the
Okay,
Tennessee Titans are 1 and so the worst team in the NFL is Carolina, who's 1-7.
okay,
The second worst team in the NFL is the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-6.
okay.
And then the 2-6 teams that exist are as follows. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-6. The New England Patriots are 2-6. The New York Giants are 2-6. The Cleveland Browns are 2-6. The Las Vegas Raiders are 2-6. The New Orleans Saints are 2-6. The Miami Dolphins are 2-5. And the Jets are 2-6.
So there are 7 teams in your same field of play, and then 2 worse than you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you got your ass kicked by one of those teams that's worse than you. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Again, teams lose to bad teams. Ravens just lost to the Browns. There are arguments to be made. They got better. But seriously, what the fuck? What's I mentioned this last week. What's the plan? Don't tell me come out of the darkness. Bitch, you're not taking a nap. You're playing in the NFL. It's not dark. It's on fire. Shouldn't be dark. It shouldn't be because there are flames everywhere.
Yeah. Your entire
Like it's
organization
on
is in
fire.
flames. It's a
You
dumpster fire.
cannot point to one person whose job is safe right now. Not even Aaron Rodgers' job is safe right now.
So
It shouldn't be.
I thought it was funny. If you follow, so I follow a dude on Twitter,
Okay.
Spot Track, who essentially his entire thing on Twitter is to give you contract breakdowns. He did a post today that was if the Jets decided to cut Aaron Rodgers, or
What's
if
that?
they're not going to, but like if they decided this is
No, yeah, I mean like
oh, hold on. I'd have to find it.
what are the financial implications of that?
It's
And he took a pay cut
insane. Right here.
to go to the Jets.
Okay, so Aaron Rodgers has $49 million in dead cap against the $23.5 million cap hit with the Jets in 2025. If either side decides to move on, the Jets can designate him as a post June 6th release, which I'm not even going to try to explain that. So if that happens, he has a $14 million cap hit in 2025 and then a $35 million cap hit in 2026.
Oh my god.
So they can't even
Why
really
would
move
you
on from him.
kick the can that far down the road when you knew there was no way in fuck he was going to play for you for 3 years?
When he's a 40-year-old quarterback.
That's
that also tore his Achilles recently.
And you clearly have no cap room because you had to deal with Hassan Reddick's contract, lack thereof, to get Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if anybody, if our fans, if you watched that or you saw that article, but finalizing Hassan Reddick's contract at what they did and being able to convert it to a signing bonus the way they did created the space for Devontae. That's why they got Hassan Reddick done. That's why they dealt with it. Because they couldn't afford Devontae without it.
Yeah.
So you have no cap room.
No cap room.
For a team that's terrible.
No cap room. You're trading capital. You have a shitty old ass quarterback that you have to pay. And at this point, you're probably gonna have to draft another quarterback.
Yeah. And you've proven that this team doesn't know how to develop a quarterback.
Yeah.
This organization does not know how to develop a quarterback. I do not think the Jets have a homegrown quarterback. in their legacy ever. They have always taken quarterbacks from other teams.
I thought Joe Namath might have been
Okay. Yep. I'm sorry.
the only
I'm sorry.
quarterback to win them a Super Bowl.
I'm sorry. You're right. I did forget about Joe Namath.
I believe he was drafted by the Jets.
Because I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. So you have one.
And he won you a Super Bowl.
And your only championship. That's insane. And you've drafted how many? I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. And we're seeing that their quarterbacks they have drafted do know how to play
Have
football.
success. Have success.
So, I don't know if it's...
Flacco is still coming off the bench, winning for teams.
Yeah. Geno Smith is starting for Seattle.
Sam Darnold is starting for Minnesota.
Yeah. Zach
and
Wilson...
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think Minnesota has slight buyer's remorse on drafting a quarterback right now.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. But
Zach Wilson, the only reason he's the third stringer is because Sean Payton said he was so broken by the Jets that he doesn't want him to worry about having to prep for games every week. He just wants to work with him on the things the Jets abandoned or fucked up for 3 years.
Yeah.
But he knows he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He has publicly stated it. And amazingly enough, Sean Payton does know quarterbacks.
Yeah, so.
Oh.
Good job, Jets. Way to go.
Yeah. Crushing it.
But yeah, nobody's safe. I'm probably gonna watch. It's one of the podcasts I watch because Dallas watches talk shows. I watch podcasts.
Yeah.
Has done essentially one of the things they do is like a fix your franchise. One of them's a Jets fan, and he has to fix the Jets franchise, and that's been recently, which means they now will go through and essentially try to fix the Jets, and that can be a multi-year process or a single year, but I always find it fun because they did one for the they did one for the Raiders recently.
Okay.
And that one was pretty good. So I'm gonna watch this one. My suggestion is fire everybody and trade everybody that you can.
My suggestion is fire everybody and sell the team.
I mean that's an option, yeah.
Because Woody Johnson
sucks.
Is a terrible meddling owner. At least Jerry Jones is making his team money.
Yeah, no, that's...
What the hell are you doing? Except for firing head coaches without telling anybody. That's insane. That's insane. That's psychotic. That's psychotic.
Yeah.
That's... For nobody in that building to know, except Aaron Rodgers probably, that you were getting ready to fire the head coach as the owner.
Yeah.
You were just going to do this thing. That's insane. Sell the team. Fire everybody.
I would do a lot of things.
Replace your field. Those are the three things I would do.
Yeah.
As the new owner, I'd be like, new field. New field.
Yeah.
New GM, new field.
New quarterback.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
The Jets are possibly the biggest shit show in the NFL. Which is saying something.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I have more faith in the 1-7 teams than the 1-6.
Yeah.
Because there's potential. Maybe you need to get the quarterback right. Maybe you knew this season was going to be bad. The Patriots knew this season wasn't going to be good.
Yeah, Carolina knew it was going to suck.
But they have a plan. There's no plan. You've given the keys to your franchise to a 40-year-old coming off an injury quarterback. You have no backup to speak of.
No.
You've given away all of your draft capital trying to fix the problem. You fired a head coach, which took the steam completely out of your defense. You have no working capital, draft or financial.
Yeah.
And you are not making the Super Bowl, by the way. I know you thought, okay, well, if we dump it all into this year, like we'll be like the Rams. We put all our eggs into one basket to get the payoff, and then we know we have to spend a year and rebuild.
The difference with the Rams is
They had success.
One, they had a better quarterback. Two, they had a better head coach that they didn't fire.
Yeah.
Three, they had
didn't
an
give
owner.
up all of their capital.
Yeah. I mean, they did get up like all of their capital, let's be honest.
But like,
this is the first year in like
they
five.
had room.
This is the first year they had in like five. This last year in like 5 years that they had a first round pick. But they still ended up making everything work. It helped that they had Aaron Donald.
What's the plan? You can't have a plan. You cannot justifiably tell me you have a plan.
They don't have a plan.
And telling me coming out of the darkness is not a fucking
And
plan.
what's worse is if you look at their division,
you could have won it.
You could have at least challenged. The Buffalo is 6-2. The rest of the division is 2-6 or 2-5.
And Buffalo, as I've stated, I don't think is playing that well.
Yeah.
They're beating up on bad teams.
They're beating.
You could have at least challenged.
At least the Bills are beating who's on their schedule.
The Dolphins. Unfortunately, I think the whole world spent too much time talking about Tua and his injury. But no one, and so when he was coming back, they're like, "Oh, thank God." I'm like, the Dolphins were not a good team before he got hurt.
Yeah,
the Dolphins were not playing well. They're not even a factor in this division right now. They just lost to the Cardinals. We're not a good team. The Cardinals have flashes of moments of being like, you know what, we're going to be really talented right now for like 2 drives, and then that's going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
And they do that really well. And like 4 teams this week, it was crazy, won off walk-off field goals. The Patriots are not good. Everybody knew the Patriots weren't going to be good. You had a clear path to the playoffs.
Yeah.
All you had to do was get to the playoffs. You're not even going to make it at this point. There's no plan.
You're not even going to be close to the playoffs.
No.
There's not even like a...
Not even, especially in the AFC.
Sorry. You're looking at a top 10 pick at this point?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
If logically, they might escape it. They might.
For the people that really had faith in this, they were like, this is it. And I was like, it's not. And you were like, it's not. And I felt very vindicated because I was like, we're not crazy.
Yeah.
We're not crazy.
That has been our best take so far, is that the Jets are not that good of a football team.
We knew.
I feel like
talent. I feel like talent, it's like the Anthony Richardson thing. All the talent on a roster does not make a winning team. You have to have more.
Yeah, I don't know. And I feel vindicated with some other things on that roster, but I can't really talk because there's other things happening.
Yeah.
But I do feel vindicated that I still think there were some robberies that happened. But
that's fair.
There's one that really stands out to me. But I'll leave it.
Let's switch to a positive note.
Okay.
Some exciting things that happened this week. I thought the Commanders-Bears game was going to go very differently.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Jaden Daniels. I think he's playing really well. It was a weird game. I was confused because the Bears have far and away a better defense than the Commanders do right now.
But
So it was like it's gonna be a wash. Like even if Jaden is playing better than Caleb, Caleb's defense is playing better than Jaden's. And none of that mattered.
no.
Because in the biggest spot, in the biggest moment, the Bears defense would rather taunt the crowd
Yep.
than cover a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And then we don't seem to know
So
that you are allowed to commit PI on a Hail Mary. So we're just like, it's okay. We'll all just jump up for the ball. And
and
whoever catches it, and because I wasn't paying attention, I'm going to tip the ball backwards to a Commander's player, who, by the way, didn't even have to go up and get it. He was just standing there. He was like,
it was a classic.
he was
Honestly,
like, oh, hey.
it's a classic Hail Mary. You run a Hail Mary for two things. Either it's essentially two players can catch the football if you're on the offense. It's the dude in front of the main group or the dude behind the main group. And the whole point of that main group is for one of them to bat the ball forward or to bat the ball backward. And you're taught as a defense to not try to catch it, to simply volleyball that shit straight to the ground. The dude that was taunting the crowd before the snap,
During the snap,
and partially during the play itself, runs over and tips the ball straight in the air behind him, which is a huge, huge, huge no-no for a Hail Mary coverage, because there's always a player
someone right back there, just
in
waiting.
the back, just waiting. Like, all right, if the ball comes this way, I'm standing here, and you tipped it straight back, and the dude just sees it and goes, "Well, my job's complete."
Thanks. It's crazy, but
yeah.
Congratulations to the Commanders. Happy for you.
Yeah.
Thought it was a good win. Thought Jaden played well. Even with the ribs, they were clearly bugging him. Didn't let that stop him. And yeah, I thought it was good. I was a little confused by Packers Jaguars. That was the one I texted you.
Yeah, no, that was just a shit show of a game. That was just a
0-0 through the first quarter and a half. It was crazy.
The Jaguars just aren't good.
And that's kind of the thing that confused me. It's because the Jaguars are not good, so why did the Packers struggle so much? Like, what's happening?
I don't
and
know.
Then Malik Willis had to come back in. Jordan Love, while playing well, has been rather injury prone this season.
Yeah.
Lions are doing what the Lions do.
I was gonna say the Lions are the best. The Chiefs might have the best record in football. The Lions are the best team in football.
Absolutely.
There's
far and away.
So we'll see what comes of that. Their only loss so far has been to Tampa Bay.
But they're playing phenomenal football.
Yeah.
Like all sides of it.
Yeah. There's just not much to say. I'll get more into Detroit.
When they play a slightly better team. Like I know Minnesota was that. I do not. But without Hutchinson, we'll just see. But they're playing phenomenal football. They look great right now. Honestly, this is the Lions' year. I feel like they are primed and ready for this. It's crazy, and I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, we'll see. They're definitely
just keep it rolling.
Yeah, we'll talk more about them because.
Oh yeah. Did you have any other thoughts?
Not really.
On this week,
because of the results of the Seahawks game, I kind of this week just went away.
Fair.
You know,
it's hard to stay motivated through football when you lose that badly.
And to be honest, like I just stopped watching. Like I had Red Zone on, but I just stopped paying attention to what Red Zone was doing.
That's fair.
And then I didn't watch Sunday night. Well, I watched Sunday Night Football for the game of the week, and then I didn't watch Monday Night Football. So I mean, there's really nothing. I will say, from what I've seen from Monday Night Football, this is just a quick note. Russell Wilson seems to be playing slightly more like Seattle Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Some of the throws I saw just out of replay looked like vintage Wilson. So I mean, like, good for him, I guess. That's about it. That's about my only.
I think he's feeling energized right now. Um, we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll
that's
see if he
that's
maintains it. I've been very critical of the Steelers, but he is playing well, and
that's
I think it's kind of a testament to who Mike Tomlin is.
yeah,
And I've been critical of him. So, I think good job to both of them. We'll see if it continues. And time will tell.
yeah,
Either I was right or I wasn't. Well, that was pretty much my only thoughts on the team. Or this week. Only other
yeah,
one I had is the Bengals are terrible. Bengals are terrible.
yeah.
And I was right, and everybody else was wrong, and you can suck it.
All right, heard it here first.
Because they have Joe Burrow, they have a shot. It's not playing well. Not playing well. None of
No,
them are playing well. Not good.
nobody is.
Got their ass handed to them by the Eagles, who are incompetent at head coach, by the way. In case you were
Yeah.
curious. In case you were curious.
All right, yeah.
Um, yeah.
All right. You wanna
Want
get
to
to
kick it
next
off for
week?
next week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk week 9 of the NFL. Um, I'll go first because both of my games actually come up first.
Yeah.
So it is Baltimore versus Denver at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern.
There you go.
Um,
Knew you could do it.
and then Bengals versus Las Vegas at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I don't know why I'm struggling right now. Obviously, I'll talk more Baltimore versus Denver during my pregame preview video.
Hmm.
And then I picked Bengals versus Las Vegas because Baltimore plays the Bengals next. Um, I'll be hesitant to, like, if the Bengals win this game, be like, no, the Bengals are finally right. Uh, Vegas is not a good team. It's not a good team.
No,
So, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect a great game. I'm watching it to simply see what the Bengals do.
fair enough.
Kick it off, Brennan.
All right, yeah.
Talk to us.
So Seattle plays Los Angeles, the Rams, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Um, I'll talk more about that game in my preview. Um, and then for my game of the week, I went for Detroit at Green Bay, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Um, I think right now I just want good football, and Detroit is the best team in the NFL, and I kind of want to
Yeah,
just not necessarily join the bandwagon, but just watch them play because they were just a
watch some good
fun
football.
team. And Seattle's on a bye week next week, so there's really no point in me like picking the team we're gonna watch next because
That's fair.
there is no team next,
That's fair.
and a lot can change in the NFL week to week. So
Yeah, that's hard to be like, well, 2 weeks ago they were like this.
yeah, especially
It'll be
when
interesting. Go ahead.
especially because they play the 49ers in
Oh
2 weeks.
God,
So like I'll give it a bit. I
and
also
they're on
think
bye. They
like
go on bye
I think they're on bye this week.
next week.
No, I
This
think
week.
it's this week. It's this week.
So yeah, I just couldn't even
I
remotely
couldn't
do
even.
that if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
So I went
Um,
for the best game, which was the division rivals, best team in the NFL playing.
we'll
I'll go with
see
that.
who plays quarterback for Green Bay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, Dallas versus Denver. I know what I expect. Bengals versus Vegas. I kind of know what I expect, but the Bengals have done what they're doing. And with the exception of this week, they play to the level of their team that they're playing
Mm-hmm.
against. They couldn't keep up with Philly, but we'll see if they play down to Vegas. And if they do,
Who
I
knows?
think there's a chance they lose that game.
Yeah. And then for me, Seattle versus the Rams. Pretty much know what I'm going to get there. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And then good game, hopefully, in Detroit at Green Bay.
Yeah.
So should be a good week next week.
I mean,
Hopefully. Maybe.
both teams are playing really well offensively. So, um,
Yeah. We'll.
could be really good.
All right.
Awesome.
I think that.
Anything else? Any other news, thoughts
No, I looked to make sure there was no breaking news before we
that we've missed?
signed off, but we did not. So
Awesome.
we are good to go. All right. That being said, y'all, I've been Brendan,
And I've been Dallas.
and this has been Flocksmith's Podcast. Thank y'all.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment.
Do that.
Bye.